Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Ministry of Guitar Collection Chronicles, where we go through different guitars in the Ministry of Guitar collection. Today is a special one because this is one of the most special guitars in the collection. This is an original 2005 first run PRS 513 Rosewood. It's called the Rosewood because of the Brazilian rosewood neck. So let's tell you a little bit about this guitar. I have, of course, done a full review of this guitar in case you want to delve deeper, but I thought it's a good time. I've had this guitar for about 3 years now, give or take, so it's a good time to check in and talk a little bit about this guitar. What's a 513? What's a 513 Rosewood? How does this all come together? 513 is essentially a special guitar made by PRS back in the early 2000s, 2005, as I mentioned. Um, and it ran all the way till 2017. In fact, I also bought one of the last 513s. This is one of the first, and it was replaced by the 509. So I bought one of the last 513s, and that one is actually played by my bandmate in my band. He was like, "You are snagging up all the 513s in the locality. You need to do something. You need to give me one." So I sold him that one, and yeah, and he's pretty happy. That's what he plays with our band all the time. So what's a 513? The 513 is an experimental model which brought to life a unique switching system as well as a unique wood combination. And the brief of this guitar was to be the ultimate Swiss Army knife guitar, which means this guitar could sound like any other guitar. I like this model so much that I have bought five of them, one of which I sold to my friend, and I still have three of them, four of them. Sorry, this one, another one just like it, private stock, which is got a different wood combination, and also a more ordinary regular 513. And we'll talk about 513s and models later. So this one is called a cherry burst, but it looks more like a, I don't really know if it's cherry burst, a violin amber burst or something, but it's essentially a very classic looking piece. Um, it's called 513 because it's got five pickups. So these are not separate pickups. These are five different single coils. And those five different single coils combine together to give you 13 sounds. It's been explained many times how the switching system works, but I think of it best simply described as three guitars in one. Guitar number one is when you have the lower blade switch in the stop position. That's a Strat kind of a SSS guitar. So you have one single coil, one single coil, one single coil, and you have a Strat 5-way switch. I think you know what the five positions do. Guitar number two, shift to the middle position. You have HSH, right? Again, 5-way switch, so you know what the 5-way switch does. The difference is the middle position doesn't become these two humbuckers in series, in parallel. It just becomes the middle coil. And last position is again exactly the same thing. So then what's the difference between the middle and the last position? The difference is in this middle position, the guitar has low output humbuckers, and in this position it has high output humbuckers, so the number of windings on the coil changes. So hence you get 15 sounds, and this guitar can sound anything from like a Stratocaster with the mid in between positions, or like a Les Paul with a very sweet thick sound, and anything in between really. You can see my video. It goes through, it compares actually the sounds versus um, all the other guitars. Okay, so this particular guitar is a bit special because this is as good a mint example of this original 513 Rosewood as it could be. So at the time that PRS launched this guitar, they went all out. So they give these things Brazilian rosewood necks, and Brazilian rosewood. Long story short, one of the most legendary, exotic, sought after tone woods ever. They were used on Martins of old. They were used on other iconic musical instruments. Now, since the 1960s, they have been outlawed, so you can only use wood that was either cut before a certain date in 1960 something or certain provenance. So these are pretty rare. And today, if you want to get one, it's very difficult. They have some stock remaining, so they use that for the private stock program, but it's a pretty hefty upcharge. It's like $1,000 just to upcharge to the neck, if at all. And then the private stock is like 10,000, 12,000 US dollars to begin with. So this guitar is not that much. It was a pretty expensive guitar when it was new. But at this point of time, it's kind of gotten back there, but they're still pretty cheap compared to private stocks or compared to modern Eagles, which have a similar neck. So if you want a Brazilian rosewood necked iconic PRS, this is the quote unquote cheapest way into that world. It's not a bad world really. I mean, Brazilian rosewood is different from Indian rosewood. Key difference being the smell and the grain. To me, does it make a difference to the sound? I don't know. It definitely makes a difference to acoustic guitars. On a electric guitar, yes, the neck wood and everything does make a difference. But rosewood versus rosewood, I'm not convinced. I don't know. I really like this guitar because I like the fact that it is immaculate condition. It has a great, top, regular maple top, good, good. I mean, of course, these are pretty expensive guitars and they're new. I like the fact that it has gold hardware because I have another one with nickel hardware, which is just on the top over there. You can take a look right over there. Yeah, there we go. I'm terrible at figuring that out. So you can see it on the top, and actually you can see the other 513 as well, which is in purple color right above me over there, purple mist as it's called. So back to this one. What I like about this is beyond the fact that it has 13 sounds, the combination of the neck and everything makes it extremely nice to play. This poor guitar, unfortunately, has spent most of its life in its case because I really don't want to get it dinged up or anything, right? You don't get historic. I mean, it may not feel historic right now, but 2005 is 15 years ago, and in a heartbeat, it'll be 20 years, 25 years. And the other 513 is a bit more banged up. It has a few dents here and there. It's still a Brazilian rosewood one, so that one I play a bit more. This one sits in the case, but I recently got it out. Thought it'll be good for it to have a bit of air, play around with a little bit. This guitar came with some of the best action that I've got any of my guitars. So any guitar that I have, it aspires to have this setup. The action is ridiculously low, but there is not even a sign of choking. And I have other PRS guitars which somehow can never get an action as perfect as this. This seems to be at that perfect edge of action. This particular guitar, so it's just it's just a dawdle to play. Um, yeah, so this guitar is more of a collection piece, to be very honest, but one that I'm really, really fond of. Not one that I have a lot of guitars that go and come, but this one, the moment I got it, the moment it smelled new. I could smell the Brazilian rosewood once I opened the case, and it was just perfect. So this will just stay. Yeah, so it has a beautiful sound. I love playing my 513s through effects, like I was playing at the beginning of this video, and that's kind of where it excel. I mean, they excel everywhere, but I particularly like them. They have particularly nice, clear, in the middle humbucker position, or even in the single coil position, which you get like a beefy single coil. They cut through quite well. So they're really good for modern music, and and they cover all the ground, so that's also another plus. So yeah, so this is the 513 PRS 2005 513 Brazilian Rosewood.